The night swallowed the forest of death. Boruto, Sarada, and Soruto moved quickly, not like fugitives, but like warriors in transition. Boruto led the way, his karma barely contained, glowing under the moonlight. They arrived at an isolated rock formation where Boruto performed a series of complex hand seals. The rock opened, revealing a dark and damp passage. Boruto stopped and looked around to make sure everything was clear, and then spoke. "Come in. It's one of Orochimaru's old hideouts. He reserved it for us." Sarada looked at her husband, surprised, and said, "Orochimaru? Why would he help us?" With a serious look, he replied, "Kabuto. He knew you were one of the only people who hadn't been affected by omnipotence. He knew Soruto was the key. Kabuto couldn't risk our son's life in Konoha, not with Kawaki and Shikamaru in power. He contacted Orochimaru, who in turn agreed to give us this refuge and help us with information." They entered the hideout, a surprisingly well-equipped underground complex. Boruto lit a torch using a fire jutsu, illuminating the main room. Then Boruto sat in a chair near a table and began to explain. "Orochimaru was helping us in two ways. First, this place is undetectable to any sensor from Konoha. Second, he's using his information network to track code. Code is still a threat, but Orochimaru believes he's more interested in taking revenge on Kawaki than anything else." Soruto, who had been silent, sat in one of the chairs with the stolen scrolls on his lap. His blue eyes, identical to Boruto's, carried the sadness of a newly discovered truth. Finally, Soruto began to speak. "Kabuto-sensei, will he be okay? He trained me. He taught me to read, how to fight, how to hide. He's the only family I knew before you, Mom." Sarada knelt beside her son, hugging him and saying, "He knew the risk. He did this for you, for all of us. He's a hero." Boruto stepped closer, his expression serious and his tone firm. "That brings me to the second point I need to raise. Sarada, you can't go back to Konoha. Kawaki will hunt you relentlessly. And Kabuto, he'll be arrested, maybe tortured, but he won't break. He's loyal to the truth, and..." With a sad look, Sarada replied, "I know. I've already accepted that. My place is here, with you." Boruto then continued, "When all this is over, Kabuto will be rewarded, not only financially, but with the honors of a great hero. But for now, he made a necessary sacrifice, a martyr for the truth." Soruto clenched his fists, the sadness turning into cold determination. His voice was firm, his conviction unshakable. "I understand. Uncle Kawaki isn't just a liar, he's a tyrant. He's using Grandpa Naruto as a hostage to maintain the lie. I will put an end to this. I will reverse omnipotence, dethrone Kawaki, and defeat Jura and Code. For Konoha, for Grandpa and Grandma, and for Kabuto-sensei." Boruto smiled, a smile of pride and relief. The burden of the truth was no longer only on his shoulders. "Good. Now, let's get to what matters. The scrolls. What did you steal, Soruto?"
The three gathered around the table. Soruto spread the stolen scrolls out, which appeared to be a mix of scientific notes and complex diagrams. Confused, Boruto began analyzing what he was seeing. This doesn't look like a typical forbidden jutsu. It looks like science, advanced ninja technology. Sarada, with her Sharingan activated, began trying to decipher the symbols until she said, "These are Amado's notes. I recognize the handwriting and the coding, but these are recent documents. He was working on this even after he allied himself with Konoha." Boruto leaned in, reading a diagram that showed the chakra structure of an Otsutsuki. For him, the pieces were starting to fall into place, and with that in mind, he said, "Amado, he has always been the link. He created Ada and Damon. He helped Ishiki. He's the only one who would theoretically know something about omnipotence and the sealing of the 7th Hokage." Soruto then replied, "The scrolls detail the nature of omnipotence, the source of Ada and Damon's power, and the connection to Shibai Otsutsuki. There are also diagrams about chakra sealing, specifically the type of seal that holds Grandpa Naruto and Grandma Hinata." Sarada noticed something strange in the coding. The encryption is Otsutsuki level, but there are subtle flaws. It's like he wanted someone to find them. And the strangest part, the ink is still fresh in some places. Amado knew it would be discovered. Boruto pondered, crossing his arms, and said, "Amado is a genius. He doesn't do anything by accident. He wanted these documents to be found. But by whom? The secrecy wing is the most secure place in Konoha. Only an elite ninja or someone with privileged access could enter." With a proud smile, Soruto replied, "I got in. I broke the seal." Boruto, increasingly confused, said, "Yes, but how? You used a jutsu I never taught you. You don't have karma to absorb the chakra from the seal. It was pure movement, pure technique." "No, actually, it wasn't just technique, Soruto. Look at the coding again. There's a subtle pattern, almost invisible, that can only be perceived by a special dojutsu. Amado wanted someone with a divine eye to find and study these documents." Boruto and Sarada looked at each other. The dojutsu was the key. Boruto began to understand everything, and with a smile on his face, started speaking about his suspicions. Soruto has the Uchiha Sharingan and also the Hyuga Byakugan, but his Byakugan has never fully manifested, and his Sharingan he has only used to copy basic jutsus. He hasn't shown any special dojutsu beyond the Sharingan and the Byakugan since his birth, but he was the only one who managed to break the seal and find these scrolls. It's as if his eye was as dormant. The tension in the room was palpable. Amado had planted a trap, but it was a trap that led to the truth. He had bet on a dojutsu that had not yet manifested. Thoughtful and tired, Boruto then said, "Let's not force anything. The body and mind need rest. Tomorrow we will continue studying. Soruto, you've done enough for today. Get some rest." Soruto nodded, but his blue eyes remained fixed on the scrolls. He knew the secret was there, waiting to be revealed. The three of them went to rest, but the silence of the refuge was filled with expectation.
Morning arrived, but the underground refuge remained in darkness. Boruto and Sarada woke up and found Soruto sitting in the same position as the night before, but his eyes were open, staring at the ceiling. There was an aura of shock and reverence around him. Sarada was frightened. She was afraid that her son was suffering under so much pressure in the current situation. "Soruto? What happened? Are you okay?" Soruto turned around, and Boruto and Sarada held their breath. Soruto's right eye was different. It wasn't a conventional Byakugan, not even a Tenseigan, not even the Jogan. It was an eye similar to Ada's ocular jutsu, but much clearer and brighter, as if it pulsed with chakra. Soruto was sweating, desperate. The words could barely come out of his mouth. He trembled, and it took several minutes before he was finally able to say something. I dreamed of him. Shibai Otsutsuki." Boruto and Sarada were in shock. Shibai was a legend, the Otsutsuki god, whose existence was almost a myth.
Everything they knew about him came from the information Amato had given many years ago. Stuttering, Soruto continued trying to express himself. He called me the heir of the Shinjugan. He said the Shinjugan is the ultimate evolution of the Dojutsu, the eye that sees truth and the future. He said I'm the only one who can reverse omnipotence because my eye can see the chakra anchor that sustains it. Boruto closed his eyes, an old memory resurfacing. He remembered Tonari and said, "The eye, the Dojutsu. I remember. When I was a child, I dreamed of Tonari Otsutsuki. He told me about the Jogan, the eye that would give me the power to fight against fate. The Jogan was the key to my future." Boruto opened his eyes, staring at his son with new understanding. His voice showed all the happiness his heart felt at that moment. Amada wasn't betting on any dojutsu. He was betting on a divine eye. He encoded the scrolls in a way that only someone with an eye that transcends the Sharingan and the Byakugan could decipher. He knew the Jogan, or something greater, would emerge. Sarada, with her Sharingan activated, analyzed Soruto's eye. The Shinjugan, the eye of a truly divine being. It's the evolution of the Jogan, Boruto. It's the eye that surpasses the Jogan. Amato knew that the only way to break omnipotence was with power that came from the same place as omnipotence, the power of an Otsutsuki god. Boruto cast a hopeful look and then replied, "That's it. We finally have a chance. We finally have something feasible to help us. Let's wait for Oromichiro to return with information about code, and as soon as everything is ready, we'll split up and head for the 3 locations where the future of Konoha and the world as a whole will be decided. Koji will help us too. In other words, Jura and his allies, Code and Kawaki, won't know what hit them. Our counterattack will be surgical and efficient. We can't leave any openings, because if we fail, the entire world will collapse. But if everything goes the way I'm imagining, well, I believe we might finally be able to bring peace back to everyone on this planet." Soruto stood up, the determination on his face, and especially in his eyes, unshakable. "I know what to do. I know where they are, and I know how to reverse omnipotence. The time of waiting is over. It's time to act." Boruto and Sarada nodded, hope renewed in their hearts. The new generation, led by the heir of the Shinjugan, was ready for battle.